All right, well, good morning, everybody. Welcome. As they said, I'm John Timberlake. I'm the CEO of Berkshire Biomedical. Our mission at Berkshire is simple. It's really to provide virtual care solutions of personalized medication delivery to the prescribed intended user by leveraging and pioneering the use of biometric technologies combined with cloud-based platforms as well as a physician-driven and enabled management system. So what that means in English is we're really working to make sure that the right person gets the right medication at the right dose at the right time. We're positioned at the intersection of two significant needs here in the healthcare system. Virtual care, which I think we've all seen in the last year is really a reality and coming in the future, as well as medication adherence. Now, medication adherence has always been a problem since we first started giving medicine to somebody outside of the hospital. Whether to understand whether that patient actually takes the medicine they're given, do they take the right amount at the right time? Does somebody else take the medicine? And we all know the downstream implications to both that patient's health, their outcomes, is dramatically impacted by that lack of compliance, but also the downstream cost to the whole healthcare system, lost wages, lost work time. It is in the billions and billions of dollars, and it's been the holy grail for anybody trying to figure out medication and drug medication for the last 20, 30, 40 years. Now, going back to the virtual care, Berkshire started working on the technology I'm going to share with you 3 or 4 years ago, well before the pandemic. And I think the pandemic just showed the importance to really treat the patient during that last mile, at their home, away from the clinic. And we're really focused on making sure the intended user, that prescribed user, is getting that medication and using it properly. Now, over the last 10, 20, 30 years, the healthcare system has done a really good job of making sure the patient gets prescribed the right medicine. But once they get that pill or that oral medication from the pharmacy or at home, we really have no idea whether they took the medicine. Did they take the medicine at the right time, the right dose? Did someone else in the family use it? Did somebody at school get to use it? What happened to that medicine? We really do not know today. So at Berkshire, what we've been working on is what we call our computerized oral administration system, or COPA, which we really think will change the way oral medication can be taken when it's really vital for that patient to understand that the intended user gets it and not somebody else and not at the wrong time. As you can see, it's a handheld virtual care, oral prescription, or a liquid prescription drug delivery device. It uses our proprietary dual biometric user authentication process. So besides just a finger or thumbprint, we have patented the process of using dentation to identify the patient's mouth, and only when the device matches both the thumbprint and the person's mouth dentation will that drug be delivered. And it cannot be delivered to anybody else. It's a mobile enhanced device using cellular technology with the capabilities of also Bluetooth. Data is always encrypted, HIPAA compliant, and as you can see from the drawings, there's the fingerprint, the mouth dentation that will be able to deliver the drug. So here's the COPA device in its form. Again, the pharmacy will fill the bottle, they'll put a smart cap on it, only the smart cap will identify the patient in with the device. The device will give you warnings through text or email when you can use the product. It will tell you when it's ready to be used. The patient will match their thumbprint, and only their thumbprint will match that they registered to the device. Then they have to match their bite. Once the bite is matched, then the drug will be delivered only to that person. So the drug cannot be given to somebody else, misused, diverted, and you know the product has been used. In addition, if they're prescribed BID medication, they can't take it at 8 a.m. and then take it again at 9 a.m. The device will not allow it until that window for the next delivery. So it really is the first time ever to really ensure that the person you intended to get the medication got the medication. So when you look at the wide range of therapeutic classes that we could utilize this technology, and it ranges based on the need for compliance on a relative scale versus on the horizontal scale, the need for security. The device really was developed from day one, really for that upper right-hand corner and a little bit on the right side. Pain medicine, post-operative pain, opioid addiction, ADHD for children, you want to make sure they get the medicine. So we're really focused on that, but there's a wide range of areas that we could also develop and focus the product on. But that's our initial primary focus with others to come. Now, the market opportunity is significant. I could spend all day talking about non-adherence. I spent a lot of my career in the drug industry before going to the medical device industry. But needless to say, if you can't ensure that the patient takes the product, you basically are not going to get the outcomes you expected, and there's just so much downstream cost. On the right side, as you look at virtual care, we're focused on the virtual care of making sure the medicine is used virtually away from the patient, but also that the doctor knows, the loved ones knows. You can help make sure they're compliant, and then, as I said, make sure it's not misused and abused. Data management, I think, is also significant. Our device essentially, the cellular communication can operate as a hub in the home. So not only can you help make sure that they use that oral medication that we prescribed, I will show you that through the data, you can make sure you can have better data as a physician. If they're taking the drug as prescribed, now you know how to titrate it versus guessing how to titrate it, which has major implications. You can look at cohort of patients in a clinic or a managed care organization to try to understand behaviors and patterns and when they're trying to use the product. And again, more importantly, you're making sure that the wrong person is not using the product. I think there's a lot of potential to use it for other outcomes, for studies, for understanding health economics of a various therapeutic class. If you think about someone who's supposed to take medication before they get a transplant, if they're not taking that transplant reduction medicine before they show up, you've wasted the potential of a nice donor organ. So you can actually prevent that from happening. So where we are at Berkshire, we have submitted for our review at the FDA. It's under review at this time. We're focused on how we can enable our technology I talked about to really improve compliance with other virtual disease management, other organizations where we can really help improve the outcomes for the areas of this product. We're also looking for partnerships and licensing because we know there are a lot more other drugs and therapeutic areas and geographies that we're not focused on today. As I mentioned, I think there's an enormous potential around potentially partnering with other even non-traditional, wider broadband people in the healthcare industry. If you think about the COPA being the hub of the house, communicating with all your other devices, it could become a center point to really make sure you're managing the totality of that patient virtually. And then, as I mentioned, we may look at clinical trials, we may look at other formulations that might work better with an oral if you really need to make sure the right patient gets it. So that's what I'm really excited about, is we're really developing that technology to really ensure that the right person gets the right medication in the right amount and at the right time. So thank you very much for your time.